pink tongue sticking out from the top, of that cloud. Can you see it? That is bizarre. What a very pretty pink tongue sticking out from the side of that cloud. All right, let's go back to the lions. They've hardly moved since we last saw them. In fact, I don't think they've moved at all. One of them's moved, I can't tell which one, and they're currently very deeply asleep. Now, I don't know if any of you agree with me that perhaps they are, well, do you know what I mean when you look in their eyes and there's something kind of, well, slightly scary about them, slightly criminal, dare I say it, about their eyes? And something very sad about their mange. But, like I say, I think that these two little bit of scratching, but that's really nothing like they would be scratching normally if the mange was a real problem. He seems to be eating his own tail, her own tail. Hello, Damon. You're a very observant fellow. You're 13 years old, and clearly you've got very good eyes. You say, why do lion cubs have spots on them? The reason is because of where they live. Now, I want you to think of the leopards, hopefully, that you saw earlier. Did you see Karula earlier, Damon? If you didn't, you may be about to. Anyway, they have spots their whole lives, obviously, and they move through thick bush, like the bush that we're actually surrounded by here. And it's very unusual that you would find a lion lying out like these, at least a leopard lying out like these lions are. So when lions are very little, before they join the pride, they live in thick bush like this. They're put and stashed away in caves and in thick bush, in very sort of shaded areas, in drainage lines, and those areas are full of shadows. And the spots help them to hide in those shadows, Damien. Then when they get much bigger, it becomes much more difficult for them to move in thick bush, and the lion is not a thick bush liver like a leopard is. They don't live in forests, they live in savannas and woodlands and grasslands. And if you're going to live in a savanna or a woodland or a grassland, it helps to be that tawny color rather than the spotted color, because you can move through the long summer grass, and that helps you when you're trying to kill something on the plains. So that's basically why the little ones have got spots and the adults don't. And you can see these guys have already kind of lost their spots because they've started to move with the pride. Perfect little feet. We were asked this morning about tracks and the relative sizes of leopards and lions' tracks. That's about the size there of a leopard track that you're looking at, a little 6-week-old lion cub, about the size of a female leopard track. But what you can see is that the front pads are exploded from the back pad. Did you see that? They weren't touching. That is extremely characteristic of any cat track. And if we look at the adults' tracks there, very nice, you can see there's the same thing. There's hair in between the toe pads and the back pad. Now on a hyena, and often some of the dogs, you don't find that gap. And that shape is exactly the same as the shape that you will find, or within reason, on the front feet of your house cat. So if you've got a house cat, you've, I'm sure, done this while you've been stroking them perhaps. Their feet, you've put your hands onto their feet and sort of pushed their claws out and that sort of thing, and you'll know that the shape of the pads underneath a domestic cat's foot, although probably 1/10 the size of that, are exactly the same shape.